Node.js is one of the most popular and powerful server technologies today. Experts are amongst the highest paid in the industry. It allows you to build entire web software in only one programming language, and it's time for you to understand it properly. Welcome to Learn Node.js. Hi, I'm Reza, and I've been working in software industries around 7 years, and welcome to this course. In this course, we're going to take a deep dive under the hood of Node.js, the famous and popular server technology. It enables us to write server code in JavaScript. This course is not about diving into just what Node.js is and what you can do with it. This course has to do with my fundamental philosophy when it comes to learning, especially when it comes to learning code. My philosophy is this: don't copy the code, understand it. I think the biggest problem with most coding books and online tutorials and videos is that the focus is on imitation. In other words, the instructor writes some code and then you write that code, and the supposition is that, oh, you know what you are doing. But then you get out into the real world and face problems that are different than the ones you see in the course, and you fall down. Why? Because much more important than simply imitating someone else's code is understanding what that code is actually doing. So in this course, we're not just going to see examples. Of course, we have a lot of examples. We're going to focus on truly understanding not just what, but how and why. How does Node.js work? Why is it structured the way it is? How can I use fundamental JavaScript knowledge that I need and that you will gain through this course in order to become a better Node.js developer? For example, this code here is where most Node.js courses start, and it's awesome. It's a web server in just a few lines of code, of JavaScript code. But the question is, while you could install Node and run this code and watch your web server start, do you really understand what's happening under the hood? Do you understand what's happening from a JavaScript perspective? All the elements and aspects of this code? That question is the one that will define whether you are imitating or you are understanding. And so, in this course, again, we are not just going to write code, we are going to work on understanding what's really happening and why it's working the way it is. So, we are not ready for this code. We are going to take several steps back and look under the hood to see what's really happening. And eventually we'll get back here. But our primary intent is don't copy the code, understand it. So we'll take again a look under the hood. We'll dive into the V8 engine, the JavaScript engine. That's at the core of the Node.js, as well as what Node.js is adding onto that V8 engine in order to expand the JavaScript language and turn it into something that we can use to write server code. And being a good Node.js developer means being an excellent JavaScript developer. So we won't just skim over JavaScript concepts that may be unfamiliar. We'll stop and we'll examine that fundamental knowledge that you need in order to understand a particular area or aspect or technique within Node.js itself. The better you know JavaScript, the better you will be able to write code using Node.js. Alright, so don't imitate, understand. And this course, we're going to learn and understand Node.js. Let's get started. A quick note about something that you'll see as we go through this course. In science and technology, we have a tendency to use words that sound a lot more complex and difficult to understand than they actually are. And Node.js and JavaScript is no different. So as we go through this course, and as we are discussing a particular topic or idea, on occasion, we'll stop and give you one of these terminology alerts. When you see that, that means we are about to explain or define a term or phrase that is commonly used with the particular aspect of the technology, but perhaps sounds a bit more complex or complicated than it really is. So when we see this, we'll give the definition a bit of detail. We'll dive and understand what it really means. So don't be turned off by the words or phrases that perhaps you have heard before and not fully understood, or it's your first time hearing them. Usually they are not as complex as they sound. Just remember, it's just vocabulary. And the other thing, throughout this course, we'll have lectures that are called asides. And what that means is that while we won't be talking directly about Node.js, we will be introducing a concept or an idea that we need to understand it in order to be able to understand Node.js.